avocation
Yes, yes.
than a vocation.
The love of the music,
Yeah.
yes. Welcome to Conversations with Barbara. I'm Barbara Kanellopoulos, and with me today is John Hagon, who is the conductor of the Cape Cod Concert Band and the Cape Community Orchestra. Welcome to the program. Thanks so much for coming to Falmouth to talk about your life in music.
Thank you, Barbara.
So you have this May coming up. It seems to me that this is a first for you. The concerts that you're planning are kind of musical autobiographies.
Yes, yeah. This is going to be this next month, actually, is going to be the 60th anniversary of my conducting debut.
Really?
Which occurred in Wisconsin at the University of Wisconsin.
Right.
I was a member of the symphony there in the string-based section, and I was studying conducting as part of my musical studies at the University of Wisconsin, and the conductor of the symphony asked me if I would like to conduct the orchestra on the May concert in 1958, and I said certainly, I would love to do that, you know. And so the piece we chose was an outdoor overture by Aaron Copland, and so that was my, you know, that was my first experience on the podium, and I've never given it up since.
And you're going to recapitulate that in May.
Yes, I am actually with the Cape Cod Concert Band concert, which is going to be May 27th at the St. John Paul High School in Hyannis. I've decided to do kind of a musical retrospective of my career, and so that's how we've programmed everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of looking chronologically at my entire musical conducting career.
That's wonderful. Yeah. That's going to be quite a treat. And in fact, we will. Well, let's go through that. You after studying at the university, you were a school teacher.
Yes, actually before that, I enlisted in the Army. I graduated from the University of Wisconsin in 1958, and I enlisted in the Army Band program shortly after that, and I was stationed with the 3rd Army Band just outside of Atlanta, Georgia for 3 years, and I was kind of an assistant conductor of the band, or I got to be an assistant conductor of the band, and I was conductor actually of the 3rd Army Chorus, so that's where I really got into conducting choruses as well on that, and then from there, after my 3-year tour of duty there with the active Army Band, then I got a teaching job as instrumental director of music in a small town in central Wisconsin by the name of Wild Rose.
Wild Rose, yes, and so that will be featured in the concert too. Yeah. And directors of music in our schools will be interested in knowing that this was when you say small town, 600 people.
Yes. The population of the town was 600. Okay, so the population of the high school was probably 125 students.
Right.
Okay.
And you had to put together a high school band.
Correct. Yeah, my first experience with that band, the first day I walked in, and there were 15 students in the band, and so one would think, well, what do you do? Say, I can't do this? No. You take the 15 and you work with it. And so that's what I did. You have to make your musical selections very carefully.
Right.
because the instrumentation is, limited at that level, but it worked. And fortunately, I was director of instrumental music for the entire school. So I was also teaching, elementary beginning band and lessons, and so I could develop a kind of a feeder system into the high school band. And I was there 5 years, and the band was 65 pieces when I left.
Oh my goodness! So you did a good job of encouraging people to join in. That is. We have music education is so important, and I wanted to ask you what you feel about the future of classical music or performing generally. Are you optimistic about the future, or do you see difficulties?
I see some difficulties now because that genre of music is not being promoted, and it's really not happening in a lot of public school K-12 situations anymore, and that's really where the students get their learn about that kind of music, because they don't hear it.
They don't hear it. Yes, there has to be an exposure to develop the taste and the interest in classical music. Right, right. But usually your repertoire or the selections you choose are probably chosen carefully to appeal to a wide variety of people.
Yes, yeah. Our concerts are probably more comparable to Boston Pops type concerts than Boston Symphony type concerts. In other words, we try to include selections from film music or Broadway music for the people that are interested in that genre, and some popular selections, as well as classical music selections on the orchestra concerts, especially, so that our audiences are introduced to, and sometimes at a relatively older age. Than,
that's so. So in a sense, you're always teaching as well.
Yes,
always.
Absolutely.
Yes,
that's what it is.
And you have developed quite a specialty. Tell us about your affinity for John Philip Sousa.
Oh, yes, yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, at the University of Wisconsin, I had a band director, the director of the University of Wisconsin Concert Band, of which I was also a member, had an affinity for John Philip Sousa and his performance techniques, And so every time we played a piece of John Philip Sousa music, he tried to play it as John Philip Sousa would have. So that's probably where my first interest came in. And then I probably, during my Army military career service, I got more of an interest in that. And I read a lot of material on John Philip Sousa and the way he performed, and also the way he conducted, because there were some actual film footage of John Philip Sousa conducting, so that I developed this interest. And while I was with the service band, I got interested in actually impersonating John Philip Sousa. Nice. So that's where it really started. That and
so you are, when you conduct, you're in full costume.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Right.
So I try to look like the master. And actually, my conducting changes. Oh yeah, yeah.
So
I try to conduct like Mr. Sousa.
I see. Which is not the way your
that
own
Mr. Hagon,
conducting is,
right,
yes,
conducts.
right.
No, that's
That's
different.
right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right. But who doesn't love a rousing march? I'm sure that that's very popular.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that your concert coming up, the band concert coming up, is going to be doing that sort of a retrospective. And the symphony that's later in the month?
Actually, the symphony, the two orchestra concerts are earlier.
Oh.
May 11th and May 13th.
I see.
May 11th is at the Brewster Baptist Church, Friday, May 11th at 7:30. And the Sunday afternoon concert at 3 is at the Yarmouth Senior Center on Forest Road. And there is going to be a kind of a special treat for me in that I'm going to be conducting that Aaron Copland piece, an outdoor
yes.
overture, which I conducted
Right.
60 years ago.
In 1958.
In 1958, and have never conducted since.
Ah.
So this will be my second performance of
See,
the outdoor
I
overture.
see. Interesting that you hadn't got around to doing it again till
No, well,
till
there were so
now.
many other pieces to do over
that's
the
true,
course
that's true.
of the
Right.
60 years. Yeah.
And but your teaching career also involves teaching at the Berklee School of Music in Boston.
Yes,
You
yeah.
teach conducting.
You know, actually, this is my 40th year there.
Really?
Yes, yeah. I've been there for, now I'm part-time. I used to be full-time. I was the chair of the music education department there, which is the music teacher K-12 preparatory program.
Oh, I
So,
see.
yeah, I was head of that department for 23 years.
So you were teaching teachers.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Or teaching students how to become teachers.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
The craft of teaching. And so, but the conducting now is, are there lots of young people interested in becoming conductors?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, from our, you know, and of course, as part of our program at Berklee, there they have to.
Oh, I see.
You know, because they're going to be conducting school ensembles.
Of course, right, right,
Both vocal
Right.
and instrumental
right.
kinds of
right.
things. So,
Yeah.
so we, you know, so we're teaching there. Now I'm just, I've kind of semi-retired, so I teach 2 days a week up there now. But I teach my two favorite conducting courses.
Oh, that's good. That's good. When somebody signs up to be part of your band or the orchestra, what do you expect from a person who? What would you expect from that musician?
Probably, a basic instrumental skill of playing, but we don't audition. I have never auditioned
No auditions.
people
Well, that's
for my
interesting.
group. I usually tell someone when they inquire, and they'll ask, well, is there an audition? I said, no, you come in and audition us and see where you fit in. And generally, that works, because they'll come in and they'll find, based on their skill level, what particular part they're most comfortable with. And sometimes, it'll be older adults who maybe have given up the instrument for. Sometimes they'll say, "Oh, I haven't played for 25 years." I said, "That doesn't make any difference. Come, try it." But they're interested in getting back into it, and so I say, "Come, try it again."
Okay, so your philosophy then as a conductor is really not necessarily to turn out perfection in music, but to encourage people to enjoy music
Absolutely.
and to enjoy performing.
Yep, that's
So-
it. And again, we try to develop the best possible performance that we can for each concert. But that's not the goal is not necessarily a professional level of performance, although we do get pretty close.
I can imagine you would, because it would seem to me that welcoming would make a musician work at it and want to be the best he or she possibly can be.
Right.
So that with that investment, you're going to get a good result.
Yep.
So it's a good philosophy.
And as long as they practice, and they will, because if they find out they can't keep up, that.
Right. Yeah.
And yet, sometimes it becomes overwhelming for some of those people. But my goal, I guess, is retention. And so sometimes you have to kind of nurture those people along and talk to them. Well, like, how many notes did you play this time? Well, I played a little bit of this. I said, it's okay. The next time you'll play a few more, and then you play a few more after that. And most of the time, you can keep people going, and they will develop.
Oh, I can see that makes such good sense. It's encouraging, and certainly also it doesn't seem formidable for somebody. It's so easy to be frightened by a difficult piece.
Yep.
So this way, and what a wonderful opportunity for people in their years of retirement to participate in producing great music.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This whole question of live music, going to a concert and hearing a concert is a wonderful experience, and I guess you can't get that in any other way. Would you agree?
Right. Yeah, live. In fact, with the orchestra, we go into elementary schools and put on like 45-minute programs for the elementary students in the lower grade levels before they start instruments, and we talk about the orchestra and the instruments and play a little, so they actually get for a lot of them, that's the first time they've actually heard a live orchestra ensemble and been able to see the people, because the visual thing is important too.
Oh, sure. Yeah. What a great experience for them, and many of them will. And
it's a great experience for us. In fact, that's one of our most favorite things to do is to do the elementary school concerts.
Right. So your musicians then stay with you. You don't have a lot of well, of course, people move and change.
Yeah, we have some turnover, but most of them stay.
Good.
With and occasionally they'll drop out for a while, and they may come back, and that, Yeah.
The marching band that you do is, I wonder if that's more popular than the symphony orchestra, that in terms of people who attend.
I don't know that it's more
that's right. You don't
popular.
just play marches.
No. Our band concerts are like Boston Pops concerts.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, we include marches. That's certainly a part of it, because people expect if they're going to go to a band concert that they're going to hear a march.
Right.
But we play Broadway show music. We play transcriptions of classical orchestra music.
I see.
We play popular arrangements of popular music from various eras.
I see.
Sure.
So it's not specifically John Philip Sousa and marches of that sort. That's good. That's very, very, and the symphony orchestra also has a varied repertoire.
Yeah, basically we do. I do the same kind of programming with the symphony orchestra too. As we include theater music, we include popular music of various eras, and that, as well as the more traditional orchestral music.
So a life in music has been, well, it seems to me it's been quite an adventure, because you've traveled not only with the Army, but was it you went to Europe?
Yes, yeah. With the for 18 years, I was conductor of the 215th Massachusetts Army National Guard Band, and so as part of that, we got to make kind of 2-3 adventures outside the state of Massachusetts.
Really?
And so we went to Jamaica. We've been to Greece, and we went to Amsterdam when they were celebrating the 50th anniversary of the end of World War II. Which
that must have been a great experience.
That was something, and we spent a week to 2 weeks in each of those areas, and playing concerts, and just taking in the culture and the countryside.
Well attended.
I guess, yes.
Really?
We did a parade in Amsterdam which was the big celebration of the end of the Second World War, and 500,000 people watched the parade.
Wow.
And going along, and the response was something to see. It was like it reminded me of the films, that I used to watch of the troops marching through the cities with the confetti and the cheering and the signs.
It was like that.
And it was the same. And the signs that were held up, thank you, things. And I'm thinking as I'm marching down the street, well, gosh, I didn't do anything because I wasn't in World War II, But the love for what those soldiers did.
Yeah, and you represented that.
Well, of course.
What an experience.
Oh, it was.
It's a high point.
Yep.
And Greece, I think Larissa, you went to.
Yeah, we went to Larissa. Yeah, and I think that's the concert where I conducted part of the concert, and I looked out, and for as far as you could see, there were people standing in the streets. There had to be, I don't know, 200,000, 100,000 people.
What a treat.
I mean, it was just everywhere you looked were
standing
people. Yeah.
Wow, that is wonderful.
Yeah.
What a response. Right. And so we're lucky to have, we're really lucky on Cape Cod to have opportunities for live music. It's so important. And it seems to me, too, that it's really tough on professional musicians to make a living these days with so much music accessible free in recordings and YouTube and all of that. So I don't know whether or not you have at Berklee where you teach whether there is this difficulty in finding jobs.
It depends what area of music you go in. It's strictly music performance, unless you're into the popular music genre, which a good number of our students are, because we're probably the premier jazz pop college in the world. Here.
Berklee is.
Oh, yes.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Right. Now there may be other colleges that would argue that fact, but that's true. So the students a lot of the students that go there are looking for how to break into the professional performance, but in the popular genre. I think unfortunately the openings for classically trained performers are getting smaller and smaller.
Yes, the mainstream is popular, and of course even jazz you sort of wonder about, because that's always been a kind of selective people.
It has been, but it keeps going, even though it changes styles, of course.
That's true. And there are still plenty of venues for that.
Yeah.
We're lucky that we have so many churches on Cape Cod that are good venues for live music.
Well, also, the summer band activity on the Cape is something. There are about 7 town bands that perform summer concerts on the Cape. Well, the Falmouth Band here, of course, here. Sandwich has one. So there are plenty of opportunities for people that want to play. They could play every night of the week if they wanted to, and some do. Some are members of all that whole band. And so what used to happen is we used to take different nights, so we didn't infringe on somebody else's night, because so many of our people played in more than one group.
Right.
Kind of thing.
So you had to have a schedule that would allow that.
Right.
Well, that's it's encouraging that young people who have played an instrument and have given it up because they found work and didn't have time. It's nice to think that they can, in their retirement, go back to it and
and the opportunities are here, and even for vocal people now on the Cape, there are so many choral groups that people can get connected up with. So when people ask you, well, what do you do on the Cape in the wintertime? You can say, we play, we sing,
Yes, that's very good to know. And so you are looking, this is really a special summer for you because of this anniversary of 60 years as a conductor. That's been quite a long time. And we want to also let viewers know that they can get to go to these concerts. Let's go back and review the concert dates and the venues for them. We'll start with the symphony band.
Okay, the Cape Community Orchestra has 2 concerts. One is May 11th at the Brewster Baptist Church on Route 6A in Brewster, and May 13th at the Yarmouth Senior Center on Forest Road in Yarmouth. And the admission is free.
Oh, good.
We don't charge.
Very nice.
And the Cape Cod Concert Band concert is the Sunday afternoon of Memorial Day weekend, which is May 27th at 3 o'clock. And that's at the St. John Paul School in Hyannis, and that's also free.
Very nice.
Okay, so you don't have to pay
Right.
to attend.
It sounds like a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
Are you going to wear your, for the band, are you going to wear your John Philip Sousa outfit?
I don't think so. That might be a surprise. We
Oh,
don't
all
know.
right.
We don't know if he's going to show up or not.
Well, all right. We'll leave that we'll leave that open. Well, you know what I want to first do is congratulate you on
Oh,
so
thank
many
you.
wonderful
Thank you.
years, a wonderful life in music.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's been great.
Yes.
All 60 years.
Yes, yes. And bringing music to others is really a wonderful activity.
Well, that's the rewarding part
Yes,
of
right.
what I do.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, enhancing people's lives.
Yep.
So thank you so much for coming
Oh, you're
to
welcome,
Falmouth and
Barbara.
talking to us about your career. And we'll look forward to seeing you at these concerts.
Great.
Right. Thank
Good.
you again.
Thank you,
You're
Barbara.
right. And thank you so much for tuning in. We'll look forward to seeing you next time on Conversations with Barbara.